Afternoon, how are you all doing? Oh, sorry, chair slipping around. Afternoon, Ian, Novelty, Mark, Danny, Derp, Crom, Gregors, Fletch, how are we doing? Kennelly, Eric, Virginia, Brian, Happy New Year. Taking this week off? Week off in January? It's Christmas. Been a week off in Christmas. Afternoon, Mac. Probably not a bad week to take off, actually, because markets are a little bit crazy at the moment. Lots of ADRs and all sorts of stuff going on today. Again, well, if I got all those in a second. Afternoon, Neo, Sarah, Mac. Can't remember who I've said hello to, so hello, everybody. Right, first news today. So 3 o'clock, half an hour after market open, we've got PMIs for manufacturing for the US. This evening at 7, we've got FOMC, which is possibly the main mover of the day. Might not be. We'll see what happens. But so we have got some news half an hour after market open today. God, I'm a bit late, aren't I? It's 24 minutes past. So this morning, really nice, easy trades again. It's been a dream so far this week. FTSE went straight up, straight to target within the first 5-minute candle. I took the second entry off as it stalled out for 20 minutes and got hedged on the DAX. Got out the shorts at 5R, got the aggressive position on and exited on the pullback, luckily, because it dropped. But yeah, so nice day on the European markets, 500 and 600 odd dollars odd banked there. US markets so far today, not gone. We've done about 3/4 of an ADR, so there's a fair bit of movement. We haven't got ADR hits, but as you can see, there's a fair bit of movement pre-market. So markets are a bit lively today again. Whether or not we get any movement at the open, we'll have to wait and see, because we've got news coming in half an hour. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happens at the open, but we'll watch that. And there's a few ADRs obviously today. I haven't managed to bank anything on the position trading today. I've got 2 positions in profit, so I can bank roughly 0.25% ish. Pound yen and CAD yen. We have just broken the highs on that pound yen. So I'm going to let that run up to, I mean, we're literally about to alert at ADR any second now. So we are getting a little bit to exhaustion point on this. We've got this little area here on this one. So we've got this area which we keep reacting at, which is around about, I might actually move my TP down. There's no point in leaving it just in case. So I'm just going to move my TP down to roughly about 115 ADR. That's going to alert any second now. Although we've broken out of these highs, obviously we are hitting ADR. So the CAD yen is running as well. So this yen is really weak, probably off the back of the news with the earthquakes that they've had. Aussie yen's gone absolutely nowhere today, so I'm in that one still. And the euro US dollar, we've had another strong US dollar day today. So the euro US has come down, not quite far enough for me to get a second entry. We've only dropped 50. 66 is an ADR, I think. And US 96. That's because I'm trading euro US. 66, yeah. So 66 is an ADR. So this is a spot where I can get into a second position. There goes the pound yen ADR I was just talking about. That was ever so slightly too close. It was only 44 pips. So if we can drop down a little bit further on this, ideally I'd like this to get down to ADR and hit this weekly low. If we can get down to there, I'll be getting a second on that and then hopefully get out on the rebound. Euro odd ADR 125 just hit as well. So there's quite a few ADRs going off. We've got 2 minutes to the open. So what we do is we'll watch the open and then we'll come back and look at the ADRs. RSIs is a future look at as well. Euro US dollar obviously is what I got into yesterday on the ADR extension, RSI extension rather. We just basically went sideways and we've dropped again. So this is now re-extended. So there's another opportunity to get in on that Euro US dollar if you missed it yesterday. And we're just coming down into that weekly support at ADR. We'll have a look at the other RSIs, which have just got extended as well. But we'll start off with the indices. We've got 1.5 minutes to go on those. Got the honey-do list to catch up on. The honey-do list. I've no idea what the honey-do list is. I don't have a honey-do list, whatever that is. Afternoon, Peter, Evans, Monkey. Got ADRs going off by the sounds of things all over the place. Pound odd, 150. This Australian dollar is really, really weak today. Really, really weak Aussie. Dropping hard. So everything running against that today. Aussie yen's the only thing I've got on at the moment, which is good because Aussie's dropping, yen's dropping, therefore that's not moving anywhere. Take that. Afternoon, EMAC. Right, so let's watch the open. 20 seconds to go. So we're still undecided as to whether we're on a bull or a bear run at the moment. Dow couldn't make its mind up. Looked like we're dropping on the other indices though, so there's a good chance we might get a drop today, but we've got the PMI figures coming out in half an hour, so we'll wait and see what they say. Short on the NASDAQ, no entry on the Dow. Dow range is too tight pre-market. S&P thinking about triggering short. Can't quite get the entry. There we go. Short on the S&P. So short on the S&P and the NASDAQ. Dow. Big, strong move to the upside on the Dow. We'll see where we go. The danger today, because we've got news in half an hour, is that we just literally get a whipsaw open and we sit there for half an hour waiting for the news. If that's the case, it's a hedge across the board, which is not a lot you can do about that, apart from not trade it, obviously. But let's see what the US dollar's doing at the open. Not a huge amount. Okay, so the Dow at the moment, the initial opening range is 50. So if that holds that range, I'll be taking a break of the 5-minute ORB today on the Dow. Honey-do list, American for what the missus wants done. Oh, I see. Okay. Orders, you mean? Orders from the boss. Bit of a tight open today. Oh, big order just coming on the S&P there. Oh, another one. A lot of sellers entering on the S&P at the moment. Might drive that down. We'll see. Certainly looks heavy at the minute. Not quite able to get any traction though. So if we look at the S&P from a downside perspective today, we got this little wick we were looking at yesterday above there, but the weekly low from that massive drop that we had is 125 ADR today, which is probably the downside target if it can get some traction. The NASDAQ could go anywhere, the NASDAQ. There's loads of room to the downside. So ADR is my 2R target to the downside this afternoon, but you've got that little accumulation there, and then we're going to run into that high at that propulsion gap. So that propulsion gap is probably the main target, but that's 225 ADR. It's not going to get there today. So I would say somewhere around there, 150 ADR is probably your maximum you're going to get to the downside today on the NASDAQ. Upside would just be probably open today, pre-market highs. The Dow, loads of room to the downside. So yesterday's low, there's loads and loads of areas to the downside. Once we get past yesterday's low, if we get past yesterday's low, this could go absolutely anywhere down there. There's no real obvious spots. So we'll see where we break, though. We haven't broken anywhere yet. We're stuck. Dow's rejecting the highs. Got 30 seconds left on this 5-minute range. And looks like the Dow wants to go short. NASDAQ's trying to go long. S&P's got no clue. Basically confusion. I think that range on the Dow has just got slightly over 20% of ADR, so there might not be a trade on that today. 62, slightly too wide. 58 is my max on that, which is 20% of ADR. Initial cash balance has gone in at 62, so slightly too high for me to trade that today, so I'm not going to take any trades on the Dow. These two can't make up their mind at all where they want to go, can they? I've got a feeling we're going to flip-flop around until the news, by the looks of things. In which case it's a bit dangerous because we could just get hedged on these two, but wait and see what happens. NASDAQ's breaking long now, so that's going to hedge by the looks of things. See where the S&P goes. Up 600 on the morning, so it's not the end of the world if both of these hedge. So that's hedged in at 135. So if we're going to break long, US dollar yen 125 ADR, more weakness in the yen. Or is that strength in the US? Strength in the US. So US dollar powering up, which should drive those indexes down in theory, but we'll see. So if we're going to break to the upside on the NASDAQ, we've obviously got the pre-market high today, which is there. That is that previous weekly low. So basically we ended up closing at that previous weekly low. We couldn't get through it this morning. We dropped away. So that would be your first initial resistance to the upside. Failing that, absolutely anywhere in there. So, but it's way beyond ADR. So it's either going to react there and we're just going to go into rotation for the day, or we're going to break and we're going to have a big run. But it's going to need the US dollar to do something. And at the moment, we're not doing anything. So S&P, still looking like it wants to go short. Dow is breaking short as well. So if you are short on the Dow, if you did take the opening range breakout on the Dow today, I mean, you've literally just triggered on it. You haven't gone anywhere yet. But you should be able to get a run down to, whoops, yesterday's low, which is 7 points. It's a quarter of an ADR. See what happens. Rejected the highs. Look at that. This thing drops short. Just triggered me into the hedge low by a pip. We'll come back to that in a minute. So we got 20 minutes to the news. So we might be hanging around a bit, waiting for that news to come out. Pound yen's just broken and looks like it's continuing to break. That's just about to hit TP. God, that's not even worth taking off, is it? Above ADR though, so it's just not any money. I'm going to hold that pound yen. I'm going to see if we can get up to there tomorrow. Or if we get any real big reaction off the news, we might get a spike of half an ADR, which will get out. But it's not worth me taking that off there. What I might do is if this continues to push up and start stalling out around there and that CAD yen can get up to 0.2 or something, I might shut both of those down for 0.5% together and just bank that today. But we're not really getting any traction on that. Right. We'll have a look at the ADRs and RSIs while we're waiting for the indices to do something. Afternoon, Amy. Roko, what are your thoughts about US dollar Swiss? Do you expect to go short after 2 days of big long? Not at the moment. But yes, you could do. So at the minute, it's not extended enough for me to get in. I'm looking for extensions above 75 and below 25 on the RSI for entries as that. But obviously, it's a nice big drop we've had on the US dollar. So today, basically, in 20 minutes, you're going to have the PMI figures coming out, which could rally or drop the US today. So if we do get a rally on the US on positive figures today, you're going to find yourself moving up into this area here. Then FOMC could reverse the entire thing, or vice versa. So watch this move, this leg that we've had down. If we're going for a shallow pullback, you're there at the moment, 38 retracement. So that is your 38 retracement. That's a shallow pullback. That's your 50% retracement there, which is 125 ADR. And then 61.8, 71.9 is a deep pullback. So if we're going to pull back on that leg and the US dollar is going to put the next leg down in, it could go from anywhere from there to there, really, is where I'd expect to find some sellers. So just wait for signs of sellers coming in, basically, around about those levels. But I'm expecting the US dollar to drop, certainly. But not necessarily going to be in January. We don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, if it gets above 75, i.e. we get positive PMI, then I will be getting short on it, definitely. Happy to go short on that. AZ back in profit on US dollar CAD. Good man. So you held that aggressive drawdown control position, I presume. How long do you hold it? Right. Well, that's the question. So if you're back in profit on it, it's your choice. You can either go, phew, I got out of that one by the skin of my teeth and walk away, or you could bank 3/4 of it and let the rest run. Bear in mind, you have, if I was you now, I would be looking at the calendar and going, in 15 minutes, I've got PMI coming out. Yeah, you're long US dollar CAD. One of two things is going to happen on PMI. Well, one of three things is going to happen. It's either going to do nothing and you're just going to get a little bit of a whipsaw, or it's going to be massively positive and it's going to drive it higher, or it's going to be massively negative and it's going to drive it lower. So if you have really good profit on this now, anything below where we are now, you could put a trailing stop on it of something like 15 points, 15 pips. Yeah. If that news is massively positive and it rallies like crazy, you're going to get trailed up with it and make a nice profit. If that news is negative and it comes flying down, your trailer is going to take you out on all positions below that. And then you've got the option to get back in and out again. Or you can just shut the lot and go, done it. Up to you. There is no right or wrong because we don't know what's going to happen. But you are entering a propulsion gap, which has been respected once already. But you've got plenty of room to the upside as well. We're nowhere near ADR yet. So news could do either, couldn't it? Oil, now that to be affected. I don't know what that means. Aussie dollar CAD. Sorry, I don't know what that means. My original TP is 135.020. So your next resistance upside is there. Yeah. So this propulsion gap is 225 ADR. Yeah. I would say, looking at what's going on with the US dollar at the moment, that's optimistic. However, it's not optimistic if the PMI figures come out positive and then during FOMC they say they're going to bring the rate drop forward by 1 month. You're going to be, or they're not going to push the rates drop forward. They're going to push it back, for example. You're going to be up here, aren't you? So it's all about the news. All about the news. Goyle, just say no. Exactly. I do not trade Goyle anymore. Okay, NASDAQ's broken out the initial opening range. S&P hasn't, and the Dow is dropping. These three are really out of sync today. There is potential for additional rate hikes. This is why the US dollar is rallying. There's not going to be any more rate hikes. Oil will be affected by that. I've just seen if there's any news that might affect the NASDAQ that I missed this morning, but I don't think there is. No. Yeah, not quite sure why we're getting a bit of divergence on the indices this morning or this afternoon, but I think it's where basically we're just waiting for the news. So we're not going anywhere at the minute. 15 minutes. Right, so ADRs today, Aussie CAD. Big, strong drop. So the Australian dollar's been very, very weak today. So you're beyond ADR on that one. Spread, it's absolutely ridiculous, the Aussie dollar spread at the minute. No liquidity. So we've been obviously sitting sideways on this for ages over the Christmas period. We're just pushing down at the moment, down into ADR. So there's a nice pullback potential there if that's going to continue down. It's not quite extended yet. So ideally, I'd like to see that pull back a little bit and then drop. Once we're down into this sort of area, it'd be a much nicer buy if we can get down there. But there is an extension there. You're just about to get a reversal in a minute. So there's the support rectangle. So that'll be a break-in structure to the upside. So potentially got an entry there. Aussie New Zealand, we looked at this one. This was already hit ADR this morning in the London session. This was basically the gap fill. So we pushed straight out of that gap fill. We haven't gone anywhere for 4 hours after that. And now it's dropped down again and bounced again. And now it's dropping again. So this isn't going anywhere. We're stuck basically where we are. Big propulsion gap target to the upside. So if you were taking an ADR on this, you would have already been in it because there's been a reversal alert already, but you haven't gone anywhere. So you would be in it now. That was the reversal there, but it's just flip-flopping around at the minute. So that's nicely extended down to 125. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Again, big extension, ADR on that one. Not a great level. This looks like it wants to come and test this. So all of this was the FOMC from December, the 5.25. I can't remember. I haven't been looking at the fundamentals for a month, really, in any detail. I think we're 5.25 on US, aren't we? I should know this. 5.5. So we're 5.5. So that was the confirmation of the freeze on the rates. There's a good chance we're coming back down to test this, but when we get back down there, don't know. So bear in mind, we've got the PMIs and the FOMC this evening, the meeting minutes, which could drive us 200 ADR today. But that's extended already. You've got a really nice level of support that formed here after the initial news. Yeah, so we tested that over and over and over and over again. That's just shy of 150 ADR. So that would be a really good area to jump into a long, but it is extended already. So you could get into that on the next reversal alert, which you are just about to get. Euro odd. So the Euro odd basically is in a range at the minute with just 125 ADR towards the top of that range. I'd much more be interested in the 150 level and above. But big move. They've got a propulsion gap just going in there. You've got a propulsion gap already formed there. You've got another one there. Once we get out to those highs, we're going to come back and retest that area. But could well just drop from here. But if that doesn't work, you can scale into a second and then wait for the drop afterwards. Pound odd, so that's 150. That's your biggest ADR extension today. This thing hasn't stopped. So the pound today been fairly strong across the board, but that Australian dollar obviously has been very, very weak. So this is kind of a bit of a perfect storm at the moment. We've broken out of this range high. Propulsion gap is now filled. Next target is propulsion gap to the upside, which is 175 ADR. We'll probably then pull back from that, retest, and then go up for this one here. So good mean reversion opportunity there. This one today, I think you did get a reversal alert on it earlier. It was there, I think. Yeah. So you just about got a reversal alert there. So we hit ADR, pulled back, pushed up. That's where you got the first reversal alert just above ADR. And then literally it's just been screaming all morning from there. So when you get that next reversal at 150 ADR, it's likely to be the point where we start a bit of a correction. So you'd be looking for half an ADR, third of an ADR, something like 65 pips from there. So somewhere around about that propulsion gap. Look, yeah, that would be a target to the downside. Pound Swiss is extended. Just tapped into ADR. Not great this. We're just up at range high, so it's not really going anywhere. Not the best extension in the world. Pound yen, same. We're above ADR now. I'm already long on this one. Yen is very, very weak at the moment, so you're not going to get a reversal on this very easily because it's pretty much half an ADR away, or quarter of an ADR away from where we are at the moment. But it is stalling out. If it does continue to push up, you're going to get a reversal alert there, which will be much tighter and easier to get into. But nice target to the downside on this. I would love to be short on it. All yens. I think we're going to power up on the yen at some point, but for the moment, probably going to come up and retest that propulsion gap again. We tested it there, tested it again. We've pushed down. We haven't made a convincing breakout of these lows. Just kind of bounced and flip-flopped around. So it's probably going to come back and retest that high up there, which is where my target is. So wait for a reversal alert to go short, but you can obviously scale into it and take a second and wait for it to drop back down after that if it continues to rally. Pound New Zealand, that one's already played out or playing out. Haven't had an alert on it. Nice M pattern reversal though. When you get that reversal alert, push back down into this propulsion. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Again, that one's starting to play out as well. Just had the reversal alert on that one. 26 is half an ADR. So you're looking for a push, roughly 50% of that move, basically. So you're looking to come back up into this area here. Not the greatest trade in the world. More likely, we're going to come up and retest that propulsion gap at some point, but it might want to come down and retest this area first. So a bit equidistant between propulsion gaps, that one, where we are. So either that will work, or if that doesn't work, second entry, get out when it does come back and retest that higher level. And US dollar yen. Off to the races. Yen really weak. US dollar's been rallying like a crazy thing. We're just up at 125 ADR. Very hard to pick a level on this thing at the minute. We've got this whacking great propulsion gap put in by the FOMC in December. We came up and retested it, and then we dropped back down out of it again. So we're coming back up to retest it. The question is, are we going to be able to get enough movement before we get some negative news on the US? The market is waiting for some negative news. The US is going to come down, and it could be in 7 minutes when the PMI figures are released. So we'll see what happens, but that's nicely extended at the moment. You're not going to be able to get a reversal off of news. So, and it's been rallying for a good half an hour. So it's very difficult to get into that one because it's got to move down quite a way before we actually get a decent break on it. So we'll see what happens with the news. But these USs, there's no point in getting into these ahead of the news because it could fly either way. I don't know if to bank that. There's a good chance the yen might move on the US if the US moves. So I just hate being in profit on a trade above ADR because I just know it's going to want to pull back from ADR, and I really can't spot a nice easy resistance level apart from coming up and retesting that high. And what I don't want to do is this become part of some kind of pullback and the yen strengthens. So I've got 0.25% on the table. Not a lot of money though. Second position just gone in on the euro US dollar. So just had a second entry on that one. Bit of an odd entry. Oh, she's up there, isn't it? Oh, weird entry. That must have been spread. Anyway, second entry gone in. Whatever. Right, we've got 5 minutes to the news. So there's all your ADRs. There's plenty of opportunities on ADRs, although it's very difficult this week to know whether or not these are decent ADR extensions because obviously we've come out of a week of contracted movement. So the ADR levels are all contracted. So when you see a 150 ADR, that might just be normal price movement we were experiencing in December. So just got to be a bit careful with these, but they are extended. So we know they've had a good move. After a good move comes a profit take. So there's good opportunity on all of these. There's no real directional bias on any of them, so they're all valid. But the bigger they are, the better. So RSIs, we'll have a look at those in a sec. NASDAQ's just rejected the highs and pulled back inside the inside range. This is what I was worried about. Obviously, because we've got news, market's just sitting around waiting for the news. So we're going to get a kickoff in 4 minutes. Be really nice if the S&P can hit TP1 before we get to the news. That would be absolutely lovely. We can drop another 6 points. That'd be great. Dow has pushed out the pre-market lows and just sitting there as well. So we're definitely waiting for the news today. So flip a coin, see which way we go. This is the hard part of position trading. It's so hard to know what's right, best to be safe. Yeah. Big sell order just gone in. Might have a volatile news event coming up. Markets just got a little bit lively just before the news there. I'm just going to put a 60-point trailer or 6-point trailer on this. Basically, it's the length of that candle. If we get a whipsaw at the news, which doesn't hit TP, I want to break even on that position. Just because I've got a hedge on, I'm just worried about that US dollar dropping dramatically off of the PMI and we flying to the upside. So I'm just going to put a trailer on it. And obviously, if it flies down, it's not a problem. But if it whips down, doesn't hit target, and then flips the other way, I want to be stopped out on it, just in case. So 2 minutes to go, or 1 minute roughly to go till the news. Just didn't like that order came in. There's a big order just hit the market before the news, which could well be somebody jumping ship, ready to flip the other way. So don't like the look of this pulling back. Thanks for subscribing. Favor Currency FX. Welcome aboard. I'll have a look at your comment on Aussie New Zealand in a sec. Just wait for this news to get over and done with. Just for the record, Brian hates FIFO. Yes. Me too. I'm glad we don't have it. Downside of trading futures, unfortunately. Okay, news is out. Didn't get triggered on my trailer. Going to get hedged, I think. Got it. I knew that was going to happen. That's why I wanted to put that trailer on. Didn't trigger. Hedged. Okay, double hedged today. There's half of the morning's profit. Okay, that's negative news for the US by the looks of things. Look. 47.4 on a 47.2. It's as expected. Prices are down. So it's slightly negative, but not really. Just whip. Just whip me straight into a hedge, look. I suppose we had to have one bad day. I've only been trading 2 days this week and I've had a clean run. So 2 hedges, I can live with that. So we'll wait and see where the market goes off the back of these. It's total confusion at the moment. It's got absolutely no idea. So all we've done is we've whipped down, we've whipped up, and we're basically where we started. So we haven't gone anywhere for half an hour yet. So we just wait for the market to pick a direction. Now the news is out the way, so we should be able to get some speculative moves coming in now. Looks like it's going to go bearish. So I've just been tagged into that long by half a pip. Gutted. Never mind. Nothing I can do. So we'll watch downside 125 ADR for target on the S&P. It's going to be 150 ADR on the NASDAQ. I don't think we're going to get down there, but we'll have a look at where it goes in the next 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll see what happens. US dollar yen, we've got some RSIs, more RSIs got in, so there's more opportunities to get into trades now for positions, which I'll do in a minute. Dancing Wolves, how about gold? It's going the other way, same as the other way to the US dollar. XAU, XAG, gold, silver. Is there such a thing? So on Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, if you see on a daily chart, there is an FVG to the downside. I don't trade FVGs for a start, Harry Forex, so can't really help you with that. Assuming it's going down to target the daily FVG before flying upside. I have no idea. You've used the word assume there. Never assume anything. Makes an arse of you and me. You cannot predict the future, so therefore do not assume anything. The market will go where the market's going to go. If there's a whacking great target to the downside, it can go up. Doesn't mean anything. And I don't really know what an FVG is, to be honest. So it's pretty much the same as a propulsion gap as far as I know. Whether it's going there or not, I couldn't tell you. I know. Not my strategy. Right, RSIs. So we got quite a few extensions on the hourlies to look at. Keep hitting my cup. Aussie dollar CAD. That's just, well, that's pulled out of extension now, isn't it? So we missed that. That was extended down below the 30 level on the hourly. You had a lovely rejection there, look, and we're flying away now. So that was an ADR hit as well, but I don't think you would have got into that. You would have got in there. So you just literally had an ADR reversal trigger on that one, and obviously it's off now. But this is news spike, so don't necessarily pay too much attention to that. So that one was extended on the hourly. So we've got another extension now on the Aussie US, which I'm not in. Not going to get into that either. We'll see if that triggers a trade. We've got 4 seconds. We'll see if that triggers. No. So you've had the reversal alert there. But when the reversal alert happened, the RSI extension wasn't extended. So it was a bit of a fast drop and pullback. So no entry on that one, unfortunately. But that is off now. So there's potential for you to get into that one. Just had that reversal alert trigger there. Although that triggered there, didn't it? Bit of a weird one, that. But anyway, long opportunity there. That was nicely extended, but you should have been in it already, basically. Euro US dollar already in. Second entry taken on that one. That's just coming back to break even now. Pound odd also extended on the hourly to the upside. Then again, that was the 150 ADR. You've just had the reversal alert trigger on that one to go short. Didn't quite get extended above the 25, so not quite extended enough for me to get into that one. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, nicely extended to the downside. That's starting to play out now. So that was your RSI extension and your ADR hit. That's playing out very nicely. Reversal alert was there, so you've already made half an ADR on that one if you were in it. You should be getting out of that now if you're taking it as an ADR. If you're taking it as an RSI, obviously you're in. US dollar CAD. Again, RSI extension to the upside. Just missed it. Didn't quite get that 75 extension. Wanted literally another hour push to the upside, and I'd have been in that one. Didn't hit ADR today, but that's a nice extension to the upside. So we're looking for a pullback on that one back down into propulsion. Got resistance there, which we hit, rejected, broke out. That's your propulsion move. Banks will retest that area and potentially either add to the position or not. And then US dollar yen nicely extended. So US dollar yen just taken first short on that one. That was an RSI extension above the 25 on the hourly. There's the reversal alert. There's the first entry. Target on that is going to need to be somewhere down in that propulsion gap. We've got a gap fill to do on this US dollar yen as well still, look. So that is a very valid target. I'm taking an executive decision. I'm closing out pound yen and the CAD yen. Just banking that profit. Just because I want to bank something, basically. And I'm also now hedged on the yen. So I've got US dollar yen short, Aussie dollar yen long. One of those is going to play out. One of them is going to fail and need to turn into a position. So I just want to reduce my risk, take the money on the other two, and then obviously let the other two play out. So there's your RSI extensions on the hourly. So Aussie dollar, US dollar was a long. These were difficult to get into today just because of this price action, the way that it's moved to today. But there was a long there. Euro US dollar obviously was a long from yesterday, and US dollar yen is a long from right now, first entry. So those are good ones. Aussie dollar US dollar, extension on the 4 hour. So we're just pulling back at the moment. Again, we don't know which way this US dollar is really going yet. Those PMI figures, inconclusive. So there's not, it's ever so slightly negative US, but not particularly. So the US could still continue to rally, in which case it's going to continue to come down, but it could well bounce as well from here off the FOMC this evening. So that's the area you want to watch. 150, 175 ADR. If we get down into there, there's a potential bounce point back up into that propulsion gap. We're also looking to fill potentially the propulsion gap from FOMC in December. But that's only just extended on the 4 hour. Again, I'd like to see it a bit deeper for a better entry. Euro US dollar nicely extended on the 4 hour. We've already looked at this one, so I've got 2 entries on this one now, looking for a pullback into propulsion to exit. I just need to adjust my TPs on this. So TP now going to change into that propulsion gap there. So 125 ADR to the upside. So I'm looking for price basically to come and retest that propulsion. If it's going to continue to the downside, I want to be out there. If it's going to go up, that's fine, whatever, but that's my target now. And US dollar CAD. 4 hour RSI extension to the upside. Again, this is potentially, well, it's got this big, strong move down here, which broke that level. So it could come up and retest this area here. We've also got this area here, which potentially could be a retest point, which is this accumulation, which is that propulsion gap at ADR today. So this could be 50% retracement, just test that 24 moving average and drop from there. Again, bullish or bearish on the US, still no idea. We'll hopefully get a bit of confirmation from FOMC later today. But at the moment, that could go either direction. But we've had a nice strong rally on the US. Unlikely it's going to continue to go much further before it wants to pull back. But these indices will give us a clue. I knew that was going to happen. Tap me into the hedge and then it goes. Not a lot we can do about that. So there you go. So that's all the FX market done. Lots of opportunities starting to unfold. So banked a bit more today. We'll monitor those and see where we go with those two. But hedged on the yen now. Very nice. Very, very nice video. Thank you very much. This is a live stream, though. You are watching something live. Look. I didn't know what to do then. That's stupid. EMAC. I don't know. It's first week back. When I go from 5-minute chart to 1 hour, I'm unable to see the propulsion gaps on the 1 hour. Pass. Don't know. There's no setting. You could have an issue with data. So if you you've probably seen it sometimes with me. If I switch from down to a 5-minute chart, that happens, and you get this text come up called label up there. So basically, what this is a data issue. So this, if you've got a newish terminal, your broker won't have downloaded data. So sometimes when you switch down to a lower time frame, there's no data available. If you switch back up and then back down again, it will repaint. Yeah, sometimes that happens. It's a data issue. The one way you can get around it is by reducing the number of bars to look back for the gaps. So I set it to 1500, which is quite far. If you set that to 500, it won't look back far enough. So basically what's happening is it's saying, go back, show me 500 bars worth of propulsion gaps. And it will go, well, I've only got 300 bars worth, so it won't be able to paint them. So that reducing that down can help you. But what will happen is, over time, as you're flicking through your charts, like the 15-minute hasn't worked there, look. Now it has. It's just the fact that you haven't looked at that chart on that time frame before. So Am I trading futures? No, not at the moment. I've got other things going on. I've segregated my cash. I've never traded my own capital on futures. I've only ever traded prop on futures. And to be honest, it's harder. I like it. I prefer it. I enjoy it, but I'm not as profitable doing it. So I've decided not to bother at the moment. Unless something changes. What I'm waiting for is a prop firm to come along that has very low restrictions. I think I will be waiting. I think it's a bit like the Holy Grail. I think I'll be waiting forever to find it. But if a futures prop comes along with really relaxed drawdown control or drawdown limits and realistic targets, then I will probably jump onto some futures. But at the minute, no, not going to bother. Is my Indy free? Nope. It depends which Indy you're referring to, but everything you need is on the website. It is a new installation of MT4. Yeah, so that'll be the problem. I've got the same one here because this is a new MT4 install. It's a data issue. I don't know why it does it. It will fix itself, and sometimes it can take a few days. Like you'll suddenly go, that works, right? Yeah, but that doesn't. Now it does. Yeah, but what will happen is you'll shut the terminal down. You'll come back tomorrow, and you'll go to the CAD yen again, and it will be like it's not working again. And then you'll flick, and it will be working again. There's something to do with the data, and I don't know what it is, but after a few days, it will just sort itself out. And it's a really easy flick to fix the problem, but it is a weird issue. And I find it sometimes on terminals, it happens. Other terminals that are new, it doesn't happen. It just seems totally random. And I don't actually know why. And to be honest, I can't be bothered to look into how you would fix it because I don't know where to start, really, to be honest. But it is literally data. One thing you can do is if you take off the scroll charts and hit the home button, you will load in more data. So if you went onto every chart and loaded more data by just tapping that home button and going back, and it will just keep loading data, that will sort itself out anyway. But it will fix itself anyway. Trader Day seems to be taking off. Afternoon Day Trader FX. Trader Day, not heard of them. Do you mean Trade Day? Traders Day? That's an educational platform. I know Trade Day. That's one you mean. Yeah, oh right, sorry, yeah, Trade Day. Yeah. I can't bear these guys though. They sell courses. Anybody that starts a prop firm that is in the educational space, I'm not interested in at all. Because they've got motives, haven't they? I know, let's sell them a system or strategy that looks like it works really well most of the time, but at some point will exceed a 5% daily drawdown limit so we can just get them buying demo accounts from us. That's the business model. Ask Greg Secker, ask Nirav. They're all starting it. Give me 10 minutes and I'll set one up for you. You know what'll happen? They're all at it. The best futures, as far as I'm concerned, the best futures one. That's the wrong place to go. The best futures prop at the moment, when my website loads, is Take Profit Trader. Just because of the instant withdrawals, it's fixed drawdown, which is great, and you can use any trading platform on it. Instant withdrawals, that's the key. Because in futures, you're going to make a lot of money very quick and you're going to lose it very quick. When you make a lot of money very quick, you want it now. Take it. You don't want to be sitting there going, oh, I've got to wait for payday, because you will overtrade and you will lose it all. Yeah. The fixed daily drawdown is absolutely critical as well. So whatever you start with that day, daily drawdown limit is fixed at a price point. If you go up in equity, you shouldn't have that going up. So many of them do that. They catch you that way. So these guys, and I'm waiting for them to do FX. As soon as they start doing FX, I might get interested in prop again. But this is run by a Canadian millionaire. He's a Canadian millionaire hockey player who got into trading as a hobby, and he set this up. So he's more interested in doing it properly and with rules that make sense and what we want, basically. But not quite got the rules I want yet. And they're going to start doing FX at some point. Well, he said he was, but it seems to all vanish now. But meh. Anyway. Have I got any new videos planned for 2024? No. I've said everything I need to say. Everything I know about trading is on the website. I haven't got anything more I can say. I could keep churning out content, but I'm not looking to do that because I'm not looking to make money out of YouTube. I've said everything. Nothing's changed. Everything I said over the last 2 years, 3 years, it's all the same. So unless something changes, I'm not going to release any videos because I've literally said everything. Everything I know about trading is out there. But if I launch any new strategies, which I'm hoping to launch the hedging strategy, then I'll obviously do a video on the maths and the logic of that. But apart from that, just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm thinking about giving them a try. According to their FAQ, they put you in the live account after 5,000 profits. I don't know. I find it incredibly difficult to trust anything anybody in the prop space says about anything. After what my Forex funds did, I find it impossible to trust anybody in the industry. Including the ones that I recommended today. At the end of the day, if you get paid, I couldn't give a monkeys. If they're run by a bunch of gangsters from whatever country, yeah, crooks, but they pay you, that's the important thing. If they don't manipulate the market, they don't stop you out for stupid reasons, they don't restrict you so much that you can't trade, i.e. 2 minutes before or after the news, you can't have any open positions, you can't use EAs, you can't do everything that you do as a trader to make money on a daily basis. If they have rules in place that allows you to do that, and if I hit my target, you pay me, I don't care if you're a crook. At the end of the day, I'm here to make money. So I just realized there's a trailing stop on that, which I need to cancel. That's it. But I seriously don't trust any of them. Yeah. It's funny how my Forex funds were doing something and everybody copied them. And then all of a sudden they got caught doing something. Everyone went, oh, we're different. We're changing the way we work. Oh, because you're all doing the same thing as before. So what are you doing different now? Well, we've now got our own brokerage. Oh, so you can manipulate price and take my money. Hang on a minute. Oh, no, but we're regulated. I don't care. Brokers are regulated. They manipulate price too. You have just regulated yourself to give you a legal right to manipulate price. Just don't know. Call me skeptical. I've been around in this industry too long. I'm too skeptical. Oil and gold micros are good. You can still make good. You can make money on anything. Instruments are irrelevant. Trading futures, trading CFDs, doesn't matter. It goes up and down. If you press the button right and it goes up, job done. The marketplace and the instrument or the vehicle you use to trade is irrelevant. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I'd just rather go into something that I don't have FIFO rules on, basically, and futures has FIFO. So Lax is definitely the best one, especially on payout. I've been with him for a while. Who's that? The take profit trader. Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about people that trade with them. I've never heard anything negative. Payouts are good, instant, multiple methods. I never got funded with them, unfortunately. I got actually no, sorry, I did get funded with them. I didn't get paid out. So just not because they didn't pay me, because I blew the account. So I can't actually say personally, but I've never heard anything bad. But then again, I've been out of the scene for about 4 months. So AZ, that hedging strategy is going to work better on something like Tesla, which trends, compared to FX, which ranges. I've no idea. I was going to say gangsters from Russia. I was going to say gangsters from Russia, but I didn't. That's where they all live. I don't know about stocks. I'm not going to trade stocks. I'm trading FX. Everything ranges. Everything trends. It's all random. Doesn't matter what you trade. You can't trade stocks with something you're going to hold overnight because it will gap. So I wouldn't try to hedge on a instrument that gaps, personally. But my funded FX has paid me out constantly with no issues. Yeah. I don't have any problem with any prop firm that pays anybody. Yeah. My Forex funds paid me tens of thousands. Yeah. He was a crook. He got caught by the Fed. Still gave me a load of money. I don't care. If someone's going to pay you, they're going to pay you. Yeah. If they're doing something against the rules in their business, it's not your problem. You're a subcontractor of them, aren't you? So it doesn't really matter. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of firms out there, mainly the smaller ones, which are just manipulating people. You get to a point where you get about to get paid and they go, hang on a minute, you're using an EA. Well, yeah, you didn't say I couldn't. Yeah, we did say, actually, if you read that you can't use an EA unless we've verified it, could you supply the source code, please? And you go, well, no, I can't. Sorry. And they don't pay you. There's a lot of that going on. So just got to be careful. When we close a position, the twice hedge position activated. I don't know what that means. When we close position, the twice hedge position is activated. Oh, right. You mean on the stock index hedge? Yeah. If you've got that activated, yeah. So if you're using the hedge recovery system, if you close manually, it will go into loss recovery mode. Yeah, hedge recovery mode. So if I was to shut the shorts now, it would go into that mode. Yeah. Brian, that's the one thing I hate about Apex is the trailing drawdown. Yeah. That's why they're so cheap. That's where they live. What, the crooks? Never am safe. No one is safe from Russia. Do you like casinos? Yep. But I never go in there looking to win money. I go in there usually looking to get drunk and lose money. That's usually the fun part. Anyway, right. So FX is done basically. Swiss yen ADR, Euro yen ADR. So we've still got a lot of movement going on. 125 on the pound yen. Just because I got out of it, it's now decided to rally further. Oh my God. Typical. So still a lot of weakness in this yen at the moment. So US dollar yen coming down, Aussie dollar yen going up. What was the other yen I shut out? CAD, wasn't it? Yeah, CAD yen. So yeah, well, not big mistake, but the mistake getting out of those. It's not a mistake to bank money, but anyway. But yeah, they're carrying on going. So weakness in this yen continuing at the moment. So those are the three positions I've got on, which I will obviously be monitoring. There's no other opportunities at the moment. I might get an Aussie US. So if this continues to drop, this Aussie US, I might get an Aussie US on today. I'm in that. So there is opportunities potentially coming up on the RSI extensions, but didn't quite get into that one, unfortunately, or fortunately, looking at it. ADRs, Aussie New Zealand is now 125. 175. That's really reversing hard now. So that might be a good opportunity to jump in when we get that reverse alert. You've missed half an ADR of the move, but looking to push up into that area there. So lots of opportunities there. So just to cover the FX side of things, obviously there's no trades on the Dow today. So I've got hedges on the NASDAQ and the S&P. So downside on the NASDAQ, if we drop today, it's really hard to pick a downside on this. We're coming off this low, look, here at the moment. So this could be it for the downside today. I get the feeling today we are just going to sit in rotation until FOMC. I think we're probably just going to rotate today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the targets at 5R. So upside target 5R, that's 125 ADR from where we are at the moment. Downside target is 150 ADR. That's in that accumulation there. So I'm going to assume that we're going to get a nice run off of FOMC. If we do, then I will look to get out and then try and exit that NASDAQ. But there's no obvious levels because of the speed of that move down yesterday. That's really the only spot that you'd probably be looking at a bounce from, which is ADR today. So it might be worth dropping TPs down to there. But to be honest, I've banked this morning quite nicely. I've got $250 hedges locked in off of a $600 day so far. So I'm up $350 regardless of what happens. So I'm just going to leave these as they are. The S&P, the downside on this one is much nicer. So downside target at 5R is 125 ADR, which is these lows. That's the danger. They come and test that propulsion gap. Obviously, FOMC, there is a possibility that the meeting minutes might come out with something hugely bullish or bearish, in which case we get a massive ADR move on the indices. But I'm going to assume that we're not, because nothing's really changed since the last FOMC. So if we jump down to there, why is that trailing stop kicked in again? Wait a sec. I set a manual trailing stop on that. It doesn't seem to want to cancel it, does it? And it is just on one position. Something screwed up the EA there because I put a manual trailer on it, and there must be something in the logic somewhere that says if there's a trailing stop. I don't know what that is. I don't really want it though. I might have to turn the EA off and just manage that one manually today, because I don't want that trailer there. What's going on? Thank you. I don't know what was going on there. Normally when you delete a trailing stop, it cancels the trailing stop. It completely deletes it. For some reason that wasn't. So I can turn the EA back on now, I think. There we go. Right. I don't know what that was. That was weird. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I'm going to let this one run. I don't think anything's going to be dramatically massive off of FOMC today. So either we're going to push back up into those highs, into that low there, that high, this area basically, which is ADR, and try and get out of that, or we're going to push down and retest that area, and then I'll look for a bounce out of there. Regardless of what happens in FOMC, ideally I'd like one of those to have played out by the time we get to the news, but we'll see what happens. So I've got profit obviously from the morning, so I'm just going to let those run. But that's the only plan I can see on these today. It's a very tricky day unfortunately, we just ever so slightly got hedged on that S&P. This is the danger. We've discussed this many times before in here. Trading before there's a news event. If there's a 3 o'clock news event coming up, obviously the market tends to hang around for it. If the market's going to hang around, it goes sideways. If it goes sideways, it goes up and down. You tend to get hedged ahead of news. So sometimes, though, you just get target before the news. It really changes every time. So there's no right or wrong. It does what the hell it likes. So that's the plan on those today. We'll see what happens with FOMC. We'll cover FOMC tomorrow and see what the meeting minutes were. But it's just a case of waiting, really, until 7 o'clock this evening. So tomorrow we've got CPI for Germany coming out, and then we're going into unemployment claims for the US and the non-farm unemployment change. So that's all pre-market tomorrow. So the New York Open tomorrow will have had all that movement already. So we should either have massive ADRs and probably not worth trading, or we'll have a normal Open tomorrow. So fingers crossed on that one. Where's the weakness in the Japanese yen coming from? From the earthquakes, basically. Japan's being racked by earthquakes at the moment, isn't it? So what if there is instability, potential instability to the economy caused by natural disaster, the currency tends to weaken. So this is weakness, all this weakness that we're seeing in the yen at the moment is likely caused by the earthquakes. The earthquakes happened here. Yeah. So, well, it happened on the New Year's Day. So this is temporary, I suspect, because obviously we're not necessarily going to see any weakness in the Japanese economy because the earthquakes are miles away from Tokyo and miles away from the banking hubs. There isn't any impact on economy apart from cost of repairing, etc., etc. So it's probably just a temporary drop in the yen. The yen will power back up when that interest rate changes, which is coming in at some point, January, February. We haven't got confirmation yet, but at some point they will do. So it's just a temporary weakness. Therefore, I'm not actually bothered about being hedged. Whichever hedge works, brilliant. The other one I'll scale into. So it's not really an issue. Don't know which way it's going. Eri Forex, so watched your bootcamp videos, outstanding, and learned a lot from the video. However, you never mentioned how swap could affect the strategy. Well, swap is a percentage of your open trades, isn't it? So it affects you by taking a percentage of your profit, depending on how long you hold it for. It's a cost of doing business. There's nothing you can do about it. So it affects you in the same way as commission and spread does. You either pay it or you don't. It's not. It's in. The reason I don't talk about it is because it's like driving a car. Can you drive a car without petrol? No. Do you ever talk about petrol in your car? No. Why? Because it's just something you need to do the driving. Swaps are just something that happens when you trade. Commission, spreads, that just happen when you trade. Nothing you can do about them, accept them, move on. So that's why I don't talk about them, because they're just a byproduct of trading. The only thing I would say is with the yens have the highest swap. So if you are worried about it, don't trade yens. If you hold a yen position, which I did before Christmas on the US dollar yen for a couple of weeks, it hurts. Yeah, I paid about $600 in swaps, ended up making profit on it. But all that happens is when you get back to your average, which I haven't got, I can't show you at the moment, but when you get back to your average, you'll hit that and your P&L won't actually say zero. It'll say negative $200 or whatever it is, because when you get back to the average price, the swaps need to be factored in. So there's no point worrying about it. If you worry about it, you won't trade, will you? You can't do anything. When you're position trading, I'm in a position on the euro US dollar now, long. I will be in this until I'm out of it. How long is it going to take me to get out? Out of my control. It's down to the banks. So can I control swap? No. Therefore, why worry about it? If it's out of your control, forget it. If you worry about it, what are you going to do? Not trade? Nothing you do, is there? Afternoon outro. Hoping the Germans will pump the euro tomorrow. We'll see. CPI is forecast to increase. So if you look at the CPI figures for euro, we are coming down really fast. And typically when you come down at that speed, you bounce. So we are forecasting tomorrow a CPI increase. If you look at the German CPI figures over the last few months, we've had a drop, and we are forecasting a bounce. So we forecast a drop there, we got it, bigger than expected. We forecast a drop there, we got it, bigger than expected. Tomorrow, we are forecasting a large bounce. So if that comes out at 0.2 or higher tomorrow, we will get a rally in that euro. If it comes out anything lower than a 0.2 tomorrow, we'll likely have that drop, because this is the leading indicator for European CPI, this and the French. So if this has actually come down faster than expected, that will put a lot of pressure on the Europeans to reduce that interest rate faster. Because if you, as you can see with their CPI, target is 2%. They're sitting on 2.4 with a 0.5% drop on a quarter. So if that comes down too quick and they drop below 2% too fast with an interest rate of 4.5, they're going to have to drop that dramatically, which will weaken the euro. So it's quite an important figure tomorrow. I would say there's much more probability of the euro dropping on it than rising. But this is why everything is data driven. The data is what affects the interest rate. We haven't got the data yet. We won't know what's going to happen with the interest rate yet. So could go either way. US dollar yen 150 ADR. I think screaming away. Big yen weakness. Has there been another quake or anything? Ooh, Libyan oil fields have been shut. Could have a big escalation going on in Middle East as well. Now, obviously, that guy's been taken out from Hamas, so we need to watch that as well. Always troubling times. Outro, just got back to work from work, managed a trade on the S&P. Wasn't pretty. No, I'm still in it, and it's still not pretty. Some reason couldn't get on the US 30 today. I wasn't on it today. I got on it yesterday, but wasn't on it today. Spread initial opening range was too wide. That was the only one that would have worked today, look. It's typical, isn't it? The only one, and that was out by 0.4. Well, 4 points, basically. If that had been a 58 instead of a 62, that would have been a straight away to our target, wouldn't it? We're down at ADR now on the S&P and the NASDAQ. Both hit ADR. Yeah, didn't get onto that today. Numbers were just too big, unfortunately. I think it's a leverage issue with Darwin X. Yeah, you can tell that if you go into your journal. It will say unable to trade, basically, due to funds. So yeah, Darwin X, you have got low leverage. On my Darwin X account, I'm using 0.25 on the US indices. You can't get, I can get on with a higher percentage risk, but if you get hedged on all three positions, you will get margin called fairly quick. So you've got to be careful with low leverage. So that's why I've reduced risk, because I'm trading 3 instruments here. I'm also now trading 2 instruments in the morning as well. So I've got more risk on Darwin X. So yeah, you've got to be careful with leverage. 0.25, you should be okay. I'm using 0.25. That shouldn't be a problem. Obviously, you can go back to using someone like Robo Forex. Margin is a problem, especially on indices, because indices require more leverage. So they're more leveraged than FX. So you, or rather, they're less leveraged than FX. So you need more capital. So it's harder. We're bouncing off of ADR on the NAS. So just watch that high there. But this could just be pullback. I'm going to let them run today anyway. Right, I'll leave it there today. I'll be back tomorrow at the same time, 2:20 for the US session. Bear in mind, we've got news before the session tomorrow. So just be aware of all of that lot. FOMC this evening. So we could either go completely nuts or we could do absolutely nothing this evening. Wait and see what the meeting minutes say. FX, we've got a lot of movement going on at the moment. So just going to keep abreast of this. But there's lots of entry opportunities. Really nice extension on this US dollar yen now. More it gets extended, faster that snapback's going to be. So good opportunities across the board at the minute. All right, so back tomorrow morning, 7:50 for the Frankfurt session and 2:20 for New York as usual. Went long on NAS and shorts for a short scalp. Went long on NAS for a short scalp. How can you go long for a short scalp? You either went long or short. Back to the honey-do list. Okay. Right, back tomorrow. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Telegram. Other than that, good luck this afternoon, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.